Hello everyone, welcome back to Pop Culture Entertainment. More Lego Transformers here. I want to keep making these because I enjoy them. So, anyway, some of you looking at this pose here and these four vehicles, you might recognize these. Now, obviously, I was not the first person to ever make Lego Transformers. They've been on YouTube for years. And I don't know who first started it, but I do watch a lot of recent Lego Transformers YouTubers. One of those is a guy by the name of IXRollOutIX's, and I just think he's one of the coolest Lego Transformer makers out there. Check him out. I'll put a link in the description if you haven't. And a while ago, he made, back before his channel was pretty big, he made a sort of Lego Transformer called Matchbox, where it was 4 vehicles that turned into one robot. Now, I don't know why, but this video always stuck out to me. And somehow my brain was like, hey, you should build that. So I made a modern version of IXRollOutIX's Matchbox. Oops, sorry. Looking at these, so he said in that video that his original purpose was to make Transformers out of Matchbox cars, which were these little cars, kind of like Hot Wheels. But that doesn't make much sense because you need like an electronic vehicle or a living animal to make a Transformer. So I like to imagine these modern versions are like remote control toy vehicles for children. Obviously, if we take this minifigure, Spider-Man, these things are pretty big. Obviously, you could not ride in the car, the bulldozer, but this train is almost to scale. But I don't imagine them as actual vehicles. I imagine them as remote control toys still. Just how the original were toys, they're just a little bit different. So realistically, you'd have to be pretty tall to actually have these look like toys to you. So they are not to minifigure scale. But it's kind of hard to make something small in minifigure scale transform anyway. Anyway, we can start on transformation. Firstly, I should probably say the original just had all 4 vehicles becoming a robot. This one is a Transformers combiner. All of them transform on their own, but they also all transform into a big combiner at the end. So yeah, I just wanted to make this video. IXRollOutIX's made a video where he rebuilt one of his inspirations, old Transformers, so I wanted to do the same. And we'll start off by transforming the bulldozer. Now, as I said earlier, the original intent was all 4 vehicles became one robot. So they only had one name, and that was Matchbox, named after Matchbox cars, of course. So, well, I kept that name for the final combined form. They all needed their own names, which means I had to come up with some more. This one, I just call Pillar. I think it works. So, yeah, here's Pillar, the interesting looking construction vehicle. The original was a bulldozer. This one is a bit more interesting. It kind of looks like an apocalypse vehicle. But yeah, you can look at it from all angles. They all have this, little lever here, which act as a wire. As I said, they're all remote control vehicles. We can get a better look of him next to Spider-Man. He's pretty big. He's not my biggest Transformer, but he's still pretty big when he's supposed to be a toy. But it's not like any of my other Transformers were really into scale anyway. So I think it works. Move him off to the side. The shovel does move. You can twist it up, but you kind of have to move this piston with it. And there's this, it's got a pretty complicated joint. I mean, it could realistically go all the way up there, but I don't think dump trucks are supposed to do that, or construction vehicles are supposed to do that, so I kind of usually only move one at a time. I do like his shovel. I think it works pretty well, and the piece attaching it, I think that looks pretty cool. Adds like a weird spiked look. Looking at the bottom, it's pretty good. The only thing attached to the bottom is this piston. You can see his head sticking out the bottom. And then there's these big pieces on the side, which attach to these. These are supposed to be like kind of a dump truck platform, I guess, where like they would store dirt on there as he was digging. You kind of have to line them up though, and sometimes they fall down and look a bit weird. He does have actual treads, as you can see from the bottom. They're a bit more hidden on top, but you can see them pretty well from the bottom. They're just a rubber tire pulled over a 1x4. Pretty classic tank or construction vehicle design. It does have these two little smokestack things, I guess, or pistons. They don't do much. These lights on the side, which if this was a real vehicle would be absolutely humongous because they're the same size as the cockpit. The cockpit is pretty good. It's just a slope over the stud. I showed the wire, and this piece to give it a not just flat look, but I think it works pretty well. There's a side view. There's a back view. Probably as ugly as side just because you can see the weird head and plates. That side is the same. He also has these backlights. The front, and then you've seen the back and the top. Now we can transform Pillar, which is overall pretty simple. We're going to start by coming down to this shovel. You're going to flip it around and push this side of this piston into this 1x4 yellow. And then you're going to not break the feet off. You're going to take the piston. Oh, and the feet are a bit brittle in my version, but that's just because they don't have the strongest pieces. You're going to disconnect it from this piston, and then just lay that piston down flat. Come to the back. You're going to pull these shovel pieces to the side to split them. Those will be his legs, and then just fold these smokestacks down. Then we can come to the sides, pull this out, and then push the lights into the chest, which will allow you to flip around those hinge pieces, and then you can fold them back to secure it, like so. The arms are pretty simple. You're going to line it up like that, line up the wrist, and then just open up the claw. Same thing on this side. Flip around, straighten, open the claw. This wire, which was sticking out, sometimes folds down on its own because I keep bumping it. But you're just going to put that down so it's not just sticking out of his chest. And then you can flip around Pillar's head, situate everything, put him down, and there is Pillar in his robot mode. Overall, he works really well. I really like how his robot looks. You can obviously see a lot of vehicle on him. He still has the treads, these weird backwards smokestacks, I guess. The piston is kind of just kibble on the back, but this does have a purpose later. You will see that in a little bit. The legs do work pretty well. Because of this attachment used to connect the piston to hold them together in robot mode, he does stand pretty well. Obviously, the shovel makes a great foot shape. These awkward back arm things do just become the arms. I couldn't find a way to fit the arms into the transformation without just having them stick on the outside. And thanks to my cousin, he had the idea to just turn them into like a plate in the back to shovel dirt onto, which was a really good idea. Originally, they just folded as flat as they could into the back, but that didn't work super well. Show you some different views. The back is pretty plain. All it has is the piston and a bunch of anti-studs, but there's not much I could do about that. And then articulation, I should probably show off. Head is on a ball joint, so you can look all the way around. You could flip his head upside down, but I think it looks cooler like that. These legs, he has a knee bend or an ankle bend, I guess. His legs are a bit awkward. And then just at where it connects to, it does slide a little bit, but that's kind of just for transformation. And then just coming to the arms, up, down, elbow, ball joint, wrist, ball joint, fingers close, fingers open. Pretty simple, but I think he is still effective as a transformer. Oh, so there is Pillar in his robot mode. Now we can move on. Next up is the weird pushing train. I don't know what the exact word for this vehicle, what it's actually called. I'm just going to call it a train for this video. If you know what it's called, tell me. I just didn't know. This one is the biggest. It's the tallest in robot mode, and it's the biggest vehicle. And that was mostly just because, admittedly, I don't know why I made him so big. He probably should have been smaller, but there's nothing we can do about it now. The carts do move. They are the same as the original, one red color scheme, one yellow, but now I just added some light and dark gray to break it up a little bit. Originally, this whole part was going to be red, but in the end, it ended up just an ocean of gray, a little bit of red on the bottom, and a little bit of red in there. That not being the head, and then just a little bit of gold, but besides that, it's very gray. Admittedly, that's probably my least favorite thing about this, is that how gray it is. I wish I could have changed it, but I could not. The bottoms are rather clean. I really think this is the one that transforms the best, because this is such a random vehicle to transform into. I think I did a really good job of making it a good transformer. Obviously, most of the mass will be coming from this. So I'm going to start by twisting that straight. I just had it in a turning position for that kind of same pose IXRollOut did in his video. And now we can work on transformation. The hardest thing about his transformation is working around these cars, but we're going to stand them up a little bit, take these bottom wheels and fold them out to the sides, and then just bend them almost all the way. Fold the wheels down. These will be his arms, but this is going to be hard to get on camera. Okay, guys, listen. Just so I can get it on camera, I'm going to disconnect these just for now. He can transform without taking them off, but in order to actually show you guys his transformation, I'm going to disconnect them just for now. We can then pull this wheel down, leaving that 1x3 on this piece, and then they are on hinges, so you're going to fold the arms back out of the way, fold them down as far as they can, and then just straighten that black piece. And then when we can, we're going to pull his head forward. It's just this weird translucent triangle piece. I think this from a Lego Nexo Night set. I just saw that and I was like, yeah, that'd make a pretty cool head. And it just folds inside for robot mode. We can fold his arms down like this. Then we'll come to his back, which isn't really a backpack. It works pretty well. These hinges are going to fold down to become shoulder pads. These ones are going to fold up to become out of the way, I guess. And then this is just going to situate like that. Oh, yeah, and then this is going to fold up to kind of hold between the shoulder pads so they don't fold up with arm articulation. And then this one I just like to fold up and the wire just flat to flatten out his back a little bit. And then for the legs, we can grab these cars. You're going to want to actually just twist it like that, the yellow one around, put it like that, and then just grab the same hinge it was attached to earlier. As I said, I just wanted to show you guys the transformation. And you're going to attach it, place him down, make sure he stands, and there is a Railgun, as I call him. I don't know if I ever said that. His name is Railgun in his robot mode. As I said, he is tall. He's meant to be the strategist of the team, in my opinion, with Pillar being more of the strength guy, but he ended up looking super buff with all his shoulder pads and his great big shoulders that the wheels folded from, and his arms. The wheels are his fists, and they look massive. So I find that pretty funny. He's pretty buff. He does have a bit of a snake or caterpillar-like body. I didn't know what else to do with the cars, and I kind of ran out of room for feet. I guess originally I was going to make one of the wheels fold into arms, and then the other fold into feet. And then these would just fold up onto the back, but it just looked so awkward. I thought, just go with the weirdness. He's already kind of weird. I have to lift my camera up a bit because he's quite tall. I'll do a final show all the robots off at once, but he is the tallest and buffest looking. As I said, he's meant to be a strategist. He just moved on his own. That was weird. He's meant to be the strategist of the team. Now, he does actually have his own weapon. Pillar, his hands wouldn't allow him to hold a weapon. I kind of imagine him just smashing with his giant fists. But for his weapon, we have this little blaster. I like to imagine it works like a railgun. I did use this actual shooting piece, but I don't have a red missile or any missile to put into it. So for right now, he just kind of holds it. And the way that he holds it is by not knocking him over. You're going to fold his fist down, attach it like that, and fold the wheel up underneath. And then, like many Lego Transformers before him, you act like it pops out of his wrist. A lot of Transformers, especially in like the Bay movies, do just have weapons or like blasters that just pop out of their fists. So I like to imagine that's what he does. But obviously, it would be impossible to actually get this thing to fit into his wrist without both forms looking incredibly weird. So we can just... He doesn't like to stand. He's a bit front heavy. But if we can just stand. Come on. You were good earlier. There we go. There's him in just a random pose with his blaster. We can move on to the trucks. The smallest members are these two trucks. They, just like the original, there were two trucks that looked exactly the same. The original were supposed to be kind of weird fire trucks, but I ended up changing them to look more like racing trucks. They've got 4 wheels, and they look pretty sleek despite being tall. They're kind of like monster trucks, because they're pretty tall, but yeah, they obviously still have this wire. As I said, they're all remote control. These ones probably make the most sense. Remote control cars actually exist. I don't know if remote control pump trains or remote control bulldozers actually exist. They probably do, but anyway, these two are small, and I like to imagine they're like twins. I named them just after their colors. I called this one Mustard and that one Crimson. My cousin and brother keep joking that this one should be called Ketchup, but it's not very funny. Don't make ketchup memes in the comments. Mustard is a color, not just a topping for hot dogs. Anyway, Mustard and Crimson have basically the same transformation, so I'm just going to transform one at a time right now. So yeah, 360, you can see a bit of a hinge right there. You can see the hinge here and here. You can see the joint. You probably know what's going to happen. We're going to start by folding this up onto what will be his back. And then we can use these joints to fold down the wheels as his legs. Pull these to the sides. Twist the fist. The hands like that around. And then you can fold this plate back and pull out his head. Now, this guy does not stand on his own, so just for now, a piece with holes on the side. I'm just going to attach that to his leg so we can look at him. He doesn't have the strongest joints in his legs either, so even that makes him fall backwards. So he's pretty simple. He has a yellow light for his head. You can pretty easily see that. His arms are simple. He kind of reminds me of, what's his name? Crosshair from The Last Night, where the entire robot basically folds out from the bottom of the car, just leaving the entire car on the back of the robot. It worked well for Crosshair because he just uses the back of the car and treats it like a trench coat. But for him, it kind of just sticks out the back awkwardly. I wish I could make it a trench coat. Originally, I thought of putting a 1x2 with a hole in the middle to attach to this, and then I could spin it around. But that made him taller, which was a bit awkward. So he kind of is just a shell former. The back of the car doesn't have any purpose. Grabbing his brother, I'm just going to transform him real quickly off camera. As I said, they're basically the same. You don't need to see the same transformation twice. There are very few differences between their modes. Boom. Let me grab his stand. One second. I'm sorry about that. Attach it to his foot. We can put him next to his brother and situate him a bit. There is Crimson and Mustard in their robot modes. So as you can see, very few differences. One being the colors. They obviously have different color schemes. And then this roof on the back, I put it down for him and I keep it up for him just to give it a bit more differences. His arm joints are a bit different to make him look like he has shoulder pads, and he has two different kinds of studs for his wheels instead of just the same stud. Just a couple differences to split them apart. Even they're not identical twins. Well, I guess they sort of are, but even twins have differences. So yeah, they have small amounts of differences. The biggest difference, though, is their personality. One second while I find their weapon. I'm back. I got their weapon. So personality. So Mustard here, the yellow one, he's he's probably the brains of the two. He's a cool, calculated warrior. He has this sword, a katana, I guess it is. Oh, let me just attach that to his hand and stand him back up. And yeah, he just has the one sword, which I think works pretty well for his kind of personality. He's a cool, calculated warrior, while his brother Crimson is more of a brute. As you can see, he works more on defense and strength than speed and quick attacks. Because of that, he has this bazooka cannon, I guess, would be the best thing to call it. And you can just attach that pretty easily to his hand. Like so. So they're working as a team, walking down the streets. He's knocking down buildings. He's attacking their foes. Yeah, I don't know if I said this yet, but he never specified in the original video, but I think of these as Autobots, not Decepticons. And yeah, I think the weapons for them work pretty well. Now, all that leaves left is their combined mode. Oh, articulation. His arms just move, his wrists move a little bit, their legs most complicated, upper leg and knee joint. His head's a bit more limited, but it's just down and up. There, I'm a good Lego YouTuber. We can actually start with them into their combined modes. Obviously, they can't keep their swords. Oh, and I should also probably do a group shot before combining. Let me actually give him back his weapons. Boom, nice group shot. Let's get Spider-Man out of the way. He's not part of this team. Boom. They are all pretty good. So as I said, roles on the team. Railgun is the strategist and the smarts of the team. Pillar is the leader and brawler of the team. And then these two are kind of just, smaller personalities of these two. They're often used as scouts or small warriors for stealth missions when the team isn't working in combined mode. There, nice group shot. And one last time, now you can come in, Spider-Man. Even the tiny cars are taller than him. So these guys are actually, I don't know, I'd say they kind of look like, as robots they would be to scale. A lot of Transformers are, 3 times taller than a human? Sometimes more. Some are shorter. But yeah, they're still rather large, despite supposedly being toys. Once again, though, I imagine, like, if their scale would be like a human would be as tall as this guy. So still pretty big. Goodbye, Spider-Man. And we can start on combination. Take these two out. We'll start with the cars. Now, I should also say, all of these guys in their limb modes, I guess, go in the exact same place as they did on the original. So the 2 fire trucks, cars, they were specified in the original, became the feet, and so do they. Just rip his arm off, apparently. That's the best way to take away his weapon. Once again, they have basically the same modes, but we'll stick with Crimson this time. Yeah, Mustard here can sit out of the side. I'm just going to move that. Alright. I'm going to start by, for him at least, folding that back. The head's going to go back into the same place. And then we can twist around the arms so they're facing upward. Twist the wrists backwards, not all the way in though, and fold them to the side. And then legs straightened, folded to the back, and then just this wire twists upward. There we go. And now if you're wondering about this ball joint, you will see that is where the leg will attach. Grabbing his brother, transforming him real quick. As I said, they're the exact same to become the feet of the robot. Boom. There you've got some feet. And now cut away and we'll move on to the waist. We have railgun here. As I said once again, they all have the same place. And here's where some people aren't going to be happy, but it was the only way I could follow the original. You're going to start by disconnecting these. These will have a roll later, but they're going to have the same roll as they did in the original by splitting off. IXRollOutIX used to be a little bit of a parts former, but he hasn't done that in quite a while. So we'll start with the top, and he's pretty hard actually to go between modes. Fold up his head and straighten these. Don't reconnect this 1x3. And then just for now, I'm going to fold it back like that and put the arms back. And then there's this piece here. It's connected on 1x2 with a stud in the middle. And then I use this piece because it would have a sturdier connection. That was my main problem, was the only way this could work is to make it 1 block wide was to have this as the only twisting for the waist, which caused a lot of clearance problems. So I had the idea to use this piece, and that makes it a lot more secure. Just like so. And then, actually, we're going to flip it around because that's how it's going to work. You can take this wheel, which will just fold down like that. We can straighten the legs, and then these wheels are going to fold back. Split that there, fold that all the way back, like so. You got to actually keep the wheel over here for now. Come to this side, you're just gonna fold that down as if it were leg armor. Split it again there just to cover the front, and then this can fold around like that just for now. Head down too, and that is the basics of the waist mode. Obviously it's quite weird. It does change a little bit once it attaches, but for now this is what it needs to be. Now the main body is made up by pillar. So he's pretty simple. The arms are going to stay the same, but we're going to slide the shovel back together and then come around to the back, fold the feet back to connect. Ooh, just 1 second. This piston can attach without taking off, but it's very, very difficult. Basically, you're going to attach the piston, but keep it attached to that to fold down to secure the waist. His head is just going to be the combiner head, so straighten it, and then just close his hands, twist them out. There's this other joint here. You can now see that's purpose. So as I said earlier, this piston, its main purpose was to hold the waist together because these joints would not hold up a giant robot very well. Now, and I broke it again. There we go. Now, setting him down, we can start putting things together. You're gonna split these carts. Alright, let's start with the feet. Just a warning, this guy is going to be quite tall, so I will lift my camera when I'm done. There are the feet. We can grab railgun as the waist. You're going to just connect the feet into these extra joints here, and the wheels are going to stay on the back. And then once you connect that, you gotta twist the knee back one, just because this wheel makes the legs bend a bit. Waist. Now, this is gonna be awkward. These 4 studs on the bottom of the bulldozer are going to attach right there. I'm gonna put my camera up higher real quick, so there. All right, now I'm just going to take this, plug it into there, and then I'm just going to lie him down for now. We can put this back down a little bit, and then we're gonna take these carts to become hands just by clipping them like that into those extra joints. Sorry, I know it's a bit dark. I went below my light. Now I just need to stand him up as he is quite heavy. Almost done. Stand. He stands. Boom. Let me focus. There we go. There we have the brand new Matchbox. Kind of spoilery over there. He still does have his torch weapon. We can move into weapons now. He also has this. It's just a little blaster, kind of like a lighter, so he could light his torch. Now that's just going to attach on this. 1 second. Attach onto that. And then let me just put his hand back on. Boom, now he can blast you. I like to imagine this is like a fire blaster. Once again, as I said, mostly so we could light his torch. Now let me put his new torch into his other hand. Boom. There we go. Obviously, he had a match in his original form because he was a small Matchbox car. So now he has this large fire staff, which he does hold kind of weirdly, but I don't mind it that much. Now, a couple more things I want to say. Last video I mentioned we hit 100 subscribers and I was going to do something special. But then 2 people unsubscribed, so now we're at 98 again. So we'll do something special once I hit 100, actually. So, yeah. Subscribe if you're watching this. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment telling me what you want next for Pokemon teams, because I'm going back to that next week. And then all that's left is sub, like. Thanks for watching. Goodbye, everyone.